In this video, I'll be talking about technical debt, who's responsible for it, and how to prioritize it as a PM. Technical debt as a concept is a lot more common in agile processes, where you're looking at building MVPs or solutions that will provide most value to customers, and you're trying to look at ways in which you can deliver value quicker, and in that way you might not consider some of the edge cases and deliver a solution that is not 100% complete from a architecture point of view, coding, like all the different coverage, which means that there will be processes or areas that will have to be maintained because you don't want to build the full solution out, you want to prove the value first. So as a result of this, technical debt is quite common. The best representation I could think about for tech debt is cutting corners. Tech debt is a way for you to deliver value in the quickest way possible, and let's say you have a square and the perfect solution or the perfect feature that covers all customers, that covers all edge cases is like the full square. But most of the time you don't know if there's full value in building a full square, and you really want to understand how would customers react to this, and you really want to build something for majority of the customers, majority of the use cases, which then means you cut a corner. So that corner, instead of being sharp, is pretty much going to be rounded. You understand what are all the different stages, the end-to-end, and then you kind of cut some edge cases and you make that decision based on the data you have, based on what hypothesis you're trying to prove, based on what you're trying to learn, and then you kind of end up delivering something with that rounded corner. You build your MVP and you still have 10% left of that specific feature before you finalize it, because those are the edge cases, this area is all about, like, could create bugs. This area needs to be updated. This area, it might be on an older technology. So you really need to be aware that you have left this behind. I also believe that tech debt, as much as is like engineering driver or mainly causing problems for engineers, I also believe that it causes problems for customers, because the platform you have, it's also the platform that your customers are using. And it's very important to look at the end-to-end journey. And as a product manager, you are responsible for the end-to-end product, including the edge cases, including the bugs, and making sure that your customers have the best journey possible, and that your engineers are able to drive value as fast as they can. Hence, is it really important to understand those and really prioritize them as part of your backlog. Let's move on to prioritizing it. So, but you want to move on to the next thing, and you have a whole list of backlog items that you want to consider. What do you do then? Like, how do you prove the value of completing the rest of the 10%? Or how do you prioritize between that and something else that could be quite value driven? So I would consider the dependencies. Are you building more squares or more blocks on top of that square? Like, do you have other dependencies? Is this a foundational thing and you want to like keep building on top of? Because if you want to keep building on top of, that becomes more important to be filled, because you can't really build on a shaky foundation. Second thing is going to be the frequency of of how often is this square used? Is it that you're seeing that, those 10% of customers is actually now becoming 20% of customers using those like edge cases that you left out? Are you seeing an increase in the usage? Thirdly, are you seeing that there's like a higher level of bugs coming out of this? Is this area really covering bugs that will stop customers from making a purchase or becoming really like driving really high pain points? That's also a consideration. And then fourthly is around how much engineering time it takes. If it's something that you have to keep updating, or if you want to build, as I said, on top of, but it means that the engineers have to build one for the circle, one for that gap, then you have to consider the time it takes. You're really slowing down your engineering team from delivering value in the future, because they have to maintain the tech debt. I believe that engineers can always raise those things, but the product manager should listen to them and should definitely consider prioritizing this and bringing in. There's a few ways in which you can do it. You can also prioritize tech debt as more of a continuous stream. You can say that, okay, well, 10% of our sprint, of 10% our work in like 2 weeks is going to be kind of, fixing tech debt, and then that can provide empowerment and flexibility to engineers to prioritize and decide which areas are more painful than the others. But you want to make sure that you block that time and allow them to get on with this, and that could be a way that doesn't impact the value driver as much, because you're kind of going concurrently with your value driver, but also really kind of fixing those things so they don't create problems in the future, so that you have a foundation that you're confident in. So you have to bring all these different things. You have, as I said, pretty much the amount of issues this is causing for customers and for engineers, the frequency of these issues, the risk of this falling apart, and again, it really depends if you want to build on top of it, and if this is becoming an increasingly used feature or an increasingly used area, you definitely have to prioritize that. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful. Please subscribe for more product manager videos. Bye.